Welcome to Creating a Beautiful Homestead. I'm Alexis. Welcome to my home. Today we are pressure canning ground beef. I've seen a lot of people do it. I have a lot of extra in my freezer, so I figured I would give it a shot, see if I like it, if it changes the texture too much. But it's supposed to be really good for quick spaghetti and things like that. You don't have to ground the beef. You just take it out of the cabinet, open it up, get it warm. So let's see how this goes, guys.
Okay, so we are going to cook the ground beef in the oven. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these packages open and get them laid out in this plexiglass dish. So I heard that if you sprinkle in a little bit of baking soda when you do this, it does help brown the meat, which did seem to be very accurate in my opinion on this. It did turn out very browned and nice. So since I got those both opened, I went to go wash my hands, and I come back and we're going to break up the meat into chunks and season it before we put it in the oven. If I remember correctly, I did cook this at 350 and just continued to watch it for about 30 minutes and stirred. So now that I've gotten them all broke up, I am sprinkling in the baking soda, a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. I went really basic with the seasonings because, like I said, I have no idea what I'm going to actually do with this. This was just an experiment to see, for one, if it worked, and for two, if I liked it, and to figure out how to work the pressure canner. Now that the ground beef is completely cooked, I went ahead and stuck a paper towel in my strainer just to try to strain out all of the grease. I don't think I got enough of it off, so I think next time I will lay it out on a plate, put it on some paper towels, and then pat it dry. So now I have gotten my cleaned, sterilized jars that are both still warm, and we are getting ready to portion these 2 pounds out into these 2-quart jars. Now I just tried to do this as evenly as possible. I didn't weigh it, I didn't check. There might be a little less than 1 pound in one and a little more in the other. It wasn't too concerning for me though. So now that it's all in there, I'm just going around and kind of pushing it down. The recipe in my book did say it needed 1 inch and 1/4 of headspace. So I was just trying to push it down into the jar so I had that much room left. Here I am taking the distilled white vinegar and wiping off the rims of the jars to make sure that there is no grease on them. and the lids can form a proper seal to the jars. I have that wonderful little tool that helps me take the lids out of the boiling water, which was fantastic. I loved it. So now, here you see me over in my cabinets. I am going to pull out a bowl because I think I had way too much water in this pot to start off with. I did not really know how much to put in it, so I just kind of filled it up and went with it. Well, I put way too much water in it. So here I am pulling some of it out and putting it into this bowl so I can use it for something else later.
I think I had too much water in it, guys. Let's try again.
So at this point, I know that I'm missing some step. I just cannot figure out for the life of me what it is. So I continue to take water out of the pot, thinking that is the reason I cannot get these jars to stand up straight.
Try 3.
And again, it is not working because the water level in the pot was not my problem. I really had to go back and figure this one out.
Okay, guys, I figured out the step that I missed. I gotta put boiling water in these things too.
Now, it doesn't have to be boiling water. You can also use broth if you would prefer, or something along those lines. But when you pressure can cooked meat, it has to have a liquid in it. When you pressure can raw meat, the meat will produce its own broth and you won't have these issues. So now that we've filled the jars up with water, I'm again wiping the rims off just to make sure that I didn't get anything on them and re-putting the lids on. Now that both the lids are back on, I will tighten the lids down just to finger tighten, which means once it feels like it's tight with your fingertips, you do not need to tighten it any further. So this time when I put them in the pressure canner, they did not try to float to the top. They sat in the canner perfectly fine with no issue. It was a aha moment to myself, like I haven't almost read this entire canning book back to back and I forgot I needed liquid. It's okay. I'm new to this. I'll get the hang of it eventually. So now we've come to the part where I cannot figure out how to get my lid on my pressure canner. Guys, I think I spent 15 minutes on the internet reading my manual before it just, it had to be in this exact perfect way for it to go on. And I just couldn't figure it out. Yep, here I am reading the manual and looking on my phone for any kind of tips or pointers, and I couldn't find any. I think they just have a specific way they go on, and you've got to finagle with it until you figure it out. And there we go. I finally got it on correctly.
Okay, guys. It's steaming. I don't know what I'm doing and I'm so scared. Okay, so you're supposed to place them in the pressure canner, lock the pressure canner lid, and bring to a boil on a high heat. Let the canner vent for 10 minutes, and then close the vent, which I think that's my vent, but my thingy said it doesn't tell me how to open it. I read the manual, so I think this is right. I don't know, we've got 4 more minutes of this. And then I think I'm supposed to put this thingy here And it's supposed to build pressure at that point then. This is so scary, guys. Everybody says this isn't scary. This is scary. I am terrified. I'm gonna blow this up or something, which is probably unlikely. Probably just my anxiety, but you know, that's for another day. So then you're supposed to close the vent and continue heating to achieve the 11 psi, which would be right around there. And 10 psi for a weighted gauge. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna wait the 3 minutes and then I'm gonna put this thingy on it and we'll see if it starts to achieve pressure or not. This is why I only did 2 pounds of ground beef, guys. Because I just don't even know. We're learning together. Okay, that's the 10-minute timer. It's been steaming for 10 minutes. So, let's see what... Oh! That was gnarly. I stuck that on and then that, whoa, came up. Which means I guess that it's got pressure in it now. So... Oh. Guys, I don't think that's supposed to be doing that. I may not have gotten this thing tight enough. Oh no. This is probably not what you're supposed to do, guys. Okay. That seemed to fix it. I don't think I got that nut on the bottom tight enough of the lid. But that, I mean, it's not, it's still kind of leaking. That's probably not good. Let's set the timer for 10 minutes and see if it builds any pressure in it or not. If not, I'm gonna have to turn it off, let it cool, take the top off, and start all over again. Alright guys, I don't know if you can make that out, but we have made 11 pounds of pressure. So we're going to try to maintain that for the next hour and 15 minutes. I have already started the timer. It looks like it's still going up some, so I am gonna drop the heat. And hopefully we can keep it right around here. Okay guys, like, it's almost 4 o'clock, so it's been like 3 hours, and it's finally down. So let's go ahead and open it, and ooh. We have one jar leaned on the other one, and one jar completely on its side. So, let's get this other one out of here. Talkie. This one's greasy. Like, there's a lot of grease in the pot. I don't think either of these sealed properly. But, we'll find out. They're both still really hot. Okay, guys, so this is the inside of the pot. I don't think it's supposed to look like that. And then these are the jars. They're both still bubbling pretty hardcore. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Because I'm not... So I'm gonna let the pressure canner cool for a long while before I move it. And then these are supposed to sit here for the next 12 to 24 hours. So... I don't think this worked, guys. Like, this may be a fail video. Yeah. I know we're not supposed to store them with the rings on, but I can't take the rings off until morning. I mean, both of them look sealed. Like, I'm not getting any give when I touch them, but again, I don't know. I'll be back when it's time to put them away and let you know. This is why I only did 2, and I did it now before I had to do anything else. Because I'm terrified of this. Bye, guys. Good morning, guys. It is not the next day, but the day after. I had to do some research yesterday. So, this is the ground beef. They both did seal, regardless of the fact they fell over. They are both sealed, but since they fell over, they lost about half of the water that was supposed to be in them. And you see that? See how greasy that is? The whole jar is covered in grease. So I let them cool, and I stuck them in the fridge yesterday morning. And then I went online to do some more research and preference back to my book. So this happens a lot in pressure canning, I guess. More so pressure canning than it does water bathing, but you can't water bath meat. You gotta pressure can it. So this is something that happens, and it's okay. These did properly seal. They are shelf stable, technically, and they'll be fine. They're just not going to keep for quite as long as if they would have still had all of the water in them. So after they cooled, I did stick them in the fridge because I was worried and I didn't know. So these are good. They're just not going to stay as long. So I am going to go ahead and keep them in the fridge until we use them. And then I also had to look into what was the safest way to get all the grease off the jar and the lid without compromising the jar or the lid. So, just like we did the rims when we put them in the pot, white distilled vinegar is the best thing to use. So, it sort of worked. I think from now on, either I will do full batches that fill the entire pressure canner, or I'm going to place just empty jars with like water in them in the bath as well. That way they don't fall over. Because that was my biggest problem, guys. They fell over. So this is why I did this with some ground beef first before I've tried anything else, because I've been really sad if it was like my vegetables or something that fell over and weren't preserved right. That made me upset. So this is why we did this. I got this when I had another job, and they gave us deals on ground beef. If you know who I'm talking about, great. If you don't, I'm not gonna say. We're just gonna leave it at that. I worked in their nursing department, and we got pounds and pounds of hamburger for $1. Every once in a while. It wasn't all the time, it was just every once in a while. But, so I got like almost 50 pounds of hamburger for $1 a piece, and I still have 18 in my freezer. So I wanted to see if this was, you know, something I liked, then I could do it more often. I wanted to see when I cook this with a meal, how much does texture change? How different is it? And I will definitely do an update when I do make this in like a spaghetti or something along those lines. I don't think I would want to use it for tacos. I don't really like ground beef on tacos all that much. I do it because it's easy, but authentic tacos are just always so much better. But we'll see. We did successfully can 2 things though, just not perfectly. But that's okay. This is literally the first time I have ever canned anything, guys, and I think we did all right. I mean, I'm not as scared as I was. I hope you're not as scared as I was to begin. Because if I can do this, guys, you can do it. I'm serious. Like, I will leave a link down below to my pressure canner that I got. I got it off Amazon. It's a little bit more expensive through Amazon, but I was unable to find any other pressure canners anywhere else that were in stock. That was the big thing. There was one at Tractor Supply that was the same size, but it was like, I think it was almost $50 cheaper. Guys, if you're looking for canning supplies and stuff like that, honestly, Tractor Supply. They're not gouging anybody. They're not super expensive. The only issue is the stuff goes fast. So you gotta keep your eye out. I got on Tractor Supply like every other day for like 6 months over the winter. And they just never came back in stock while I was on there. They were always out of stock. So I just buckled down and said, I want a pressure canner, so I'm gonna buy the one on Amazon. And seems good quality to me. Like I said, don't know what I'm doing. But if you want to start out, you gotta start somewhere. And that was the only place I could find one. So research and determining what kind I wanted was not really an option for me. And as the summer approached, I knew that if I didn't get it now, it was gonna be a problem. So I have the pressure canner, which if you're gonna buy a pressure canner, guys, buy a pressure canner because you can use it as a water bather. I have a pressure canner and a water bather for no reason. I don't need both. I could just use the pressure canner. But I have both, so I've kept both because maybe one day I want to do both at the same time. I don't know. But if you're just starting out, buy a pressure canner. You can use it as a water bather for pickles and things like that. I still am skeptical. Still a little scared. But pretty proud. We got something canned. Didn't go perfect. But we're used to hiccups around here. If you've been with me now for the last few weeks since I've been posting, you'll have seen my my lovely run of hiccups that happen. But we make do. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Like I said, I will leave all the stuff in the description. I will also give you guys an update on how this tastes and how the texture changed with the canning process. You guys have a wonderful day, and as always, remember, do what makes you happy. Take care. Bye.